In the last video, we looked at important things to keep in mind while sowing seeds to ensure healthy plant growth. Let's do a quick recap of those. So the first is we must ensure that the seeds are placed at the right depth, which provides some amount of protection. Second, we also saw that it's important to make sure the seeds are at appropriate distance from each other. This ensures there is no overcrowding of plants as they grow. So, in this video, we are going to look at methods and tools farmers use when they have to sow seeds in large farms. Let's take a little detour. So, let's think about our experience growing the tomato plant. There we had to sow maybe 3 or 4 seeds in our small backyard. There making sure of these two things was quite easy. We could just use our hands, make sure that we dig a hole that's at the right depth, and it was easy enough to make sure that no two seeds are too close together. So all of these we could do with our hand easily. But what if we have to do it at the scale of a farm where we probably have to sow hundreds of seeds? So this is not possible manually, right? So you can't do it with hand when it's like a matter of hundreds of seeds. So in this video, we are going to look at 2 instruments or methods that farmers use. One is a more traditional method, and then we look at a more modern instrument that's used by farmers. So let's look at the first problem, which is you have to make sure the seeds are at the right depth. Now let's think of it this way. So you have soil, and you need something that can go down to the appropriate depth and drop a seed there. So what are the instruments that you can think of which can do it? So the answer to this is a metal tube. We can insert the metal tube at the right depth and put the seed from the top. Now putting the seed from the top into a small hole is very hard. How can we make that experience better? For that, let me give you an analogy. So let's say you have a bottle with a very small opening and you need to pour oil into that. So one way you can make that easier is by using a funnel. So the funnel has a big mouth, so you don't have to worry too much, and then you can easily pour the oil inside. So a similar setup is used by farmers. So the equipment they have is a funnel which is connected to actually 3 or 4 long metal tubes, and these metal tubes are at an appropriate distance from each other, thereby making it easy for them to maintain that distance between seeds that are sown. Now this funnel is then connected to a bullock cart, which then pulls it through the farm, and as it goes through the farm, the farmer keeps adding seeds to the top of the funnel, and then the bullock cart, as it goes through, they are able to sow the seeds through the entire farm much more quickly than what they would do if they are doing it by hand. Here we have a video of a farmer friend who is actually going through this exact process, so you can take a look at that, which will help you understand better. So this is the first more traditional method. So now let's look at the next more modern method. So in this modern method, we have an equipment called a seed drill. So the seed drill is nothing but a tank which contains a lot of seeds, and that tank is then connected to a series of metal tubes. So the seed drill allows farmers to sow the seed. On top of it, it actually covers the seed by adding a little bit of soil on top. This whole setup is then connected to a tractor. So the tractor then pulls the seed drill through the farm, and when compared to a funnel, a seed drill can actually sow many more seeds at a time. So this improvement allows farmers to sow more quickly and sow much more larger number of seeds. So let's do a quick recap of the instruments that we saw in this video. So first we saw a funnel, which is a more traditional method. It's a funnel that is connected to 3 or 4 long metal tubes at appropriate distance from each other, and this whole setup is then connected to a bullock cart, which then pulls the funnel through the farm. Then we also saw that there is a more modern instrument called a seed drill, So the seed drill is a seed tank which is connected to a series of metal tubes which then help with sowing. I think at this point you're just wondering, when will we actually see the crops come up? So don't worry, that's coming up pretty soon. We are almost there. We have just sown the seeds. Up next we will look at how we provide nutrition to the plants which then help them with healthy growth.